So we want this to serve two purposes, both to be educational, but also to be inspirational as it pertains to voting. And so I want to start with a very basic question, but we don't want to assume that everyone in our audience knows the answer. So what is required for a citizen to be eligible to vote? I don't know, Jennifer, if you want to take this first or not, but any of you
Sure.
can respond.
Okay, I don't mind going first. Let me, that's actually a part of, I did a PowerPoint, so let me get to that about registering to vote. And this is specific to Virginia.
Okay.
I can come back, there's some deadlines and dates and stuff, but so registering in Virginia, any person can submit a voter registration application, but there are 5 requirements to be approved: citizenship, date of birth, unrestricted or restored voting rights, established residency and a precinct, and a submitted and approved registration application. So citizenship is pretty obvious. You have to be a U.S. citizen in order to register to vote. Your date of birth, you have to be 18 years old. Excuse me. In Virginia, a person may apply to vote and be approved if they'll be 18 before or on the date of the next general election. And this comes into play for, let's say, a primary. If the primary, like we had in March, someone that would be 18 years old by the November election could participate in that primary. Unrestricted or restored voting rights. An individual convicted of a felony may not be registered to vote unless this person has had their voting rights restored by the governor. Also, a person may also lose their voting rights if they are judged mentally incompetent, and that would have to be reversed by a judge's order. I'm going to talk about unrestricted or restored voting rights because it's something I'm pretty passionate about. I've helped a lot of people get their rights restored. I feel like anybody who wants to vote should be able to vote, and the process has gotten significantly easier over the years, so I'm really happy about that. To be eligible for restoration, you have to have finished your conviction and be free from supervision. The Secretary of the Commonwealth, that's who you go through in order to have your rights restored. You can contact them via website, which is easy. It's a short online form, or you can call to get your rights restored. Like I said, it's gotten a lot easier in Virginia. Established residency, somebody must establish residency in the precinct in which he or she wishes to vote, because of course where you live determines who represents you. And you just establish your residency by filling out the voter registration application, and then once you submit it, then it gets processed and you're registered to vote. So I'll stop now, in case anybody wants to jump in.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else want to add anything to that?
This is Nicole. I'll add that in Michigan, the only difference here is that those individuals who are incarcerated are not eligible to vote. However, there is a lot of misconception out there about those who've been convicted of certain crimes losing their right to vote. And so I just want to clarify that when you, upon exiting your incarceration stay, you have your rights restored. And so just as in Virginia, you have to establish residency by having a form of ID, a state recognized form of ID. You also have to file an application with the Michigan Secretary of State in order to vote. And it's pretty straightforward from there. I'm really happy that our state has really made voting a lot more accessible. So I recognize that, you know, this has been an issue that's been sort of confusing for a lot of folks. And it's really easy to, just by visiting the website, you can get a lot of information from the Michigan Secretary of State.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I would like to just add, in addition, last year we amended the Constitution for the state to allow no reason absentee voting. So that's an option as well Anybody can vote absentee now, regardless of what your reasoning is.
Okay, that's good to know.
And you can register same day. That's one thing that is also, people don't realize that in Michigan, we previously had a deadline of October 5th for registration for the general election. Now you have the option of registering same day. But again, we just want to make sure that people know that they have to have their documentation in order to prove their identity and their residency in order to be eligible to vote.
Okay, awesome, great stuff. Now, Jennifer,
Yeah.
that same day registration piece, is that applicable in Virginia or no?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay,
It has been delayed. It has to go before the General Assembly this next time, but it is something that's in the queue. We do have, as Keith referred to, we're going to have no excuse early voting. It's going to be the first time for the November election. It came into effect July the 1st, so it's going to be implemented in the state for the first time for the November election.
okay, very good, awesome.